Cuba is the only socialist country in the Western Hemisphere and one of the 5 socialist countries in the world, the other 4 being China, North Korea, Vietnam, and Laos. Cuba is the only country in the world that truly offers universal free healthcare, with a national average life expectancy of 79 years. Cuba also provides free housing for low-income families and those in need. Additionally, the Cuban people receive free education from elementary through higher education, with no tuition or textbook fees, and free meals and uniforms are also provided. The national literacy rate is as high as 99.8%, a figure that is extremely rare worldwide. In Cuba, urban middle school students are required to periodically stay in rural areas to participate in agricultural labor, while rural middle school students follow a half-day study and half-day work schedule. The average monthly salary for ordinary Cubans is approximately 200 to 500 yuan. Every Cuban resident has a ration book, allowing each family to purchase necessities at very low prices from state-run stores. But the amount of rationed goods is limited. Typically, the monthly ration only meets basic subsistence needs. Anything beyond that must be purchased at much higher prices. Cuba was the first Latin American country to establish diplomatic relations with the new China, and Cuba's founding father, Castro, is known as the world's most resilient man. Throughout his life, Castro survived attempts on his life as many as 638 times, a number recognized by the Guinness World Records in 2011. You could say even the Grim Reaper found him hard to deal with. Cuba has long been subjected to economic sanctions by the United States, lasting over 60 years, resulting in losses exceeding $1,542 billion. Cuba has the largest number of classic cars in the world, most of which are American cars from the 1950s. Due to the economic embargo, they cannot import new cars, so residents have to rely on existing vehicle resources. So, what comes to mind when you think of Cuba? Is it the Cuban Missile Crisis, Cuban cigars and rum, or its enchanting natural beauty? Cuba is renowned worldwide for its unique culture and specialties, among which cigars, rum, sugar, coffee and tobacco are the most iconic. Cuban cigars are generally considered the finest among cigars, generating an annual output value of about $400 million, accounting for approximately 70% of the top cigar sales in the international market. Many cigar aficionados consider Havana cigars to be the best in the world. Cuba's sugar production once accounted for 40% of the world's total, earning it the nickname the Sugar Bowl of the world. Cuba is also one of the few countries in the world that bans the sale of Coca-Cola. Cuba has extremely rich nickel reserves, accounting for approximately 40% of the world's total reserves, ranking second in the world only after Russia. Between 1939 and 1960, Hemingway lived in Cuba and called himself an ordinary Cuban. During this time, he wrote his world-famous work, The Old Man and the Sea. The Republic of Cuba, abbreviated as Cuba, is bordered by the Caribbean Sea to the east, Haiti and Jamaica to the south, the Gulf of Mexico to the west, and the U.S. state of Florida to the north, with the shortest distance to the southernmost city of Key West in Florida being approximately 145 kilometers. Cuba is the largest country in the Caribbean region, located in the northwest Caribbean. It is composed of over 1,600 islands, including Cuba Island and Isla de la Juventud, making it the largest island country in the West Indies. Cuba is the largest island in the Greater Antilles, covering an area of 104,555 square kilometers. It is known as the key to the Gulf of Mexico and is the 17th largest island in the world. Cuba's territory covers 110,860 square kilometers, roughly the size of China's Zhejiang province, with a coastline over 6,000 kilometers long. As of the year 2023, Cuba's total population is 11,083,000, and the official language is Spanish. Havana is the capital and largest city of Cuba, while Santiago is the second largest city. In the year 2023, Cuba's gross domestic product was about $1,091 million, and the per capita GDP was approximately $4,250. Cuba has long maintained a planned economy system, with the sugar industry, industrial production, tourism, nickel exports, and medical service exports being important economic pillars. Compared to other Caribbean and Central American countries, Cuba's economy has expanded in recent years. However, due to years of economic sanctions and management issues, the per capita GDP remains at a low level. Cuba maintains a low unemployment rate and low inflation, but has faced a significant trade deficit over the years, limiting its ability to repay foreign debt. Cuba's topography is unique and diverse, with rolling mountains across the island, the most famous being the Sierra Maestra, which spans the entire island with its steep and magnificent scenery. Cuba's longest river is the Cauto River, which is 370 kilometers long and is the only navigable river in Cuba. Cuba has over 200 rivers and thousands of streams, providing valuable water resources for agriculture and residents on the island. In addition to mountains, Cuba also has vast plains and hilly areas. These regions have fertile soil and a suitable climate, making them ideal for agriculture. Cuba's agriculture primarily focuses on sugarcane cultivation, with the plains and hilly areas providing the ideal environment for its growth. Most of Cuba has a tropical savanna climate, while some areas have a tropical rainforest climate. The climate of Cuba can be characterized as warm and humid, with abundant rainfall, small annual temperature variations, but large daily temperature differences. These features not only provide favorable conditions for agriculture and ecosystems in Cuba, but also have a profound impact on the residents' lives. Cuba is a multi-ethnic country with main populations of white, black, and mixed-race people. This blending of cultures makes Cuba's cultural landscape diverse and full of unique charm. An important musical organization integrates elements from African, Spanish, and Caribbean music to form a unique style. In addition, Cuba is also known for famous dance forms like samba, cha-cha, rumba, and salsa. These dances are renowned for their unique rhythm and passion, showcasing the energy and creativity of the Cuban people. Cuba's rich tourism resources attract visitors from around the world. The capital, Havana, known as the Pearl of the Caribbean, boasts a wealth of well-preserved colonial architecture. These buildings not only bear witness to Cuba's historical changes, but also offer tourists a chance to travel through time. In Havana, the vintage cars are a beautiful sight throughout the city. These classic cars not only carry Cuba's historical memories, but also become favorites for countless photographers. They complement the colorful streets, creating a cityscape full of vintage charm and romantic flair. Varadero Beach is one of Cuba's most popular beaches, known for its crystal-clear blue waters, gentle white sandy shores, and diverse water activities. This place is not only an excellent choice for leisure vacations, but also an ideal spot for diving and viewing underwater coral worlds. The old town of Trinidad is one of Cuba's best-preserved colonial-era towns, renowned for its magical houses with Baroque and neoclassical architectural styles. The small squares here feature balconies with reliefs and doors made of precious wood, all brimming with historical charm. The earliest inhabitants of Cuba were the Taíno people, a group of indigenous Americans. Cuba was discovered by Columbus in October 1492 and became a colony in 1511. Havana was founded in 1515. The Spanish exploited the abundant local natural resources, especially sugarcane, to develop a massive sugar industry. In the late 19th century, with the rise of nationalist consciousness and the global waves of anti-colonialism, the Cuban people began to seek independence. After numerous arduous struggles and sacrifices, Cuba finally freed itself from Spanish rule in the Spanish-American War of 1898. However, this victory did not bring true independence and freedom, as the United States subsequently occupied Cuba, beginning a new round of control and influence over the island. Faced with American control and oppression, the Cuban people did not abandon their pursuit of freedom and independence. In the mid-20th century, under the leadership of Fidel Castro and others, Cuba experienced a dramatic revolutionary movement. After a long struggle and sacrifice, the Cuban Revolution finally achieved victory in 1959, overthrowing the pro-American Batista regime and establishing a socialist system. Since the revolution's victory, the Cuban government has been committed to the construction and development of a socialist state. Significant achievements have been made in education, healthcare, and social security, providing the Cuban people with extensive social benefits and protection. Cuban cuisine blends Spanish, African, and Caribbean culinary traditions, creating a unique flavor and style. Roast suckling pig, fried chicken legs, and black bean rice are mouth-watering delicacies. Roast suckling pig is a gem of Cuban cuisine, made from a whole piglet, meticulously marinated and slowly roasted. The skin is crispy and golden, while the inside is tender and juicy, with an enticing aroma. It is an essential dish for Cubans during special celebrations. Cuba is a country rich in mineral resources, with abundant and high-quality deposits of nickel, iron, cobalt, manganese, and copper. Cuba is also the world's fifth largest producer of refined cobalt. Additionally, the petroleum resources are quite substantial, with proven extractable reserves reaching approximately 2 billion barrels. Furthermore, Cuba is rich in fisheries and sea salt resources. These resources provide a solid material foundation for Cuba's economic development. Cuba, this mysterious island nation located in the northern Caribbean, is known worldwide for its unique geographical features, rich natural resources, profound cultural heritage, and warm-hearted people. Which aspects of Cuba do you like the most? Feel free to leave comments and share your thoughts. Thank you for watching today's Big Faye's Global Geography. If you like our content, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. I'm Big Faye, and I'll see you in the next video.